I thought that I would do a summer update of my Richard Mueller crosses, which are currently in bloom. Not all of them, but a bunch of them are in bloom, and I'll throw in perhaps some other cattleyas as well. Brassio Cattleya Richard Mueller, which used to be Brazzaville Cattleya Richard Mueller, is a cross between Brazzaville nodosa and Cattleya Muelleri, or Muelleri. I'm not quite sure how you say that. I have nodosa right here. My nodosa usually blooms in the fall. It doesn't look like it started to set buds yet, but I usually get blooms starting around October for this. I don't have Cattleya Muelleri in my collection, though I'm thinking of getting one from Equigenera, and then I will actually find out when it blooms. But Muelleri from the internet photos has a shape very similar to this Richard Mueller cross right here. This is Orange Peacock. And Orange Peacock is Richard Mueller crossed with Vitellina. Vitellina is an orange, but Muelleri has sort of this similar shape, not completely, and is a sort of orangey red, perhaps more like this color right here. And that right there that we're looking at is, I thought it was rustic spots, but it's kind of stuck. Make sure I'm looking at the right one. It is, this is my one from Little Brook. This is Tigerlily, which is Schomburg tibbensis. So actually it's a little disappointing because I got Tigerlily hoping that with the Schomburgia in it would be a little bit curly, but it's not. Actually, I was wrong. I was looking at the wrong pot. This is actually, this is Hawaiian Treat. Now, my very first Richard Mueller cross was a Hawaiian Treat, and it was a very vigorous grower, and I divided it in the winter, and of course promptly killed all the divisions when I did that. And then I spent, I think the next decade looking for a Hawaiian Treat replacement. So this one I believe is from Waldorf Orchids in Pennsylvania. I had to write the owner and basically beg them to look after someone told me on the internet that they had seen Hawaiian Treat at their store. So I have two Richard Muellers in my possession. I have this one right here with its burn marks that I bought from Michelle Orchids. I don't know that they exist anymore. It was during the Chicago Orchid Land Festival about 15 or so years ago, and I basically picked it up unbloomed, and this was a cross. So unfortunately it blooms out white. Richard Mueller actually is, for most people, orange. And I have here next to it another Richard Mueller that I got from Diamond Orchids last year, and it's supposedly a selfing back to itself. So I hope it's orange, but obviously I won't know. Anyways, you can see from the growth habit right here that Richard Mueller, I've at least always assumed, takes after its nodosa parent with how its leaves look, and it passes this growth habit on to a lot of its progeny. So if you look right past it to this right here is a Petite Stars. Petite Stars is crossed to Laelia anceps, and you can see it has similar type leaves, right? So here's Petite Stars, and then here is Richard Mueller, and you can see that their leaves look very similar. And then if we come around front, I have right here, whoops, let's keep it in bloom, keep it in focus, Memoria Bernice Foster. which is in blue. I have Bernice Foster. I don't remember what Bernice Foster is crossed to, but you can see that it has a similar growth habit and leaves to the Petite Stars, to Richard Mueller. Alright, so we've already seen the Tigerlily right here. Oh no, not Tigerlily, I'm sorry. This was, what was it again? Oh, this was my Hawaiian treat right here. I just love the color on that. And then you can see the orange right there. I think that is probably golden peacock from the back. We'll go around front and have a look. Yes. So this right here is golden peacock. And I don't know if I can get the tag out to have a look at it. Oh, it doesn't say what the cross is. It's just golden peacock orange beauty. This is a clone that I got. And right here, here's another Petite Stars, right? And this one's different from the other ones I've shown you because the other ones carry through the orange from Richard Mueller. But this one's white. The Laelia Ancept is really dominating. Right here we have Golden Tang, I believe it is. This one's from Nats, I believe. It's basically coming out of bloom. All right, here we have Hawaiian Leopard Mei Ling. I used to own another leopard from H&R which had smaller flowers that tended toward the green. I'm really sad that there aren't any more seedling crosses of this Hawaiian leopard available. It'd be really neat to see all the different kinds of progeny. Most places sell this clone, the Mei Ling. But you can see the orange carrying through. I don't actually remember what it's crossed against. And then over here, I have ants all over everything right here. This is another Richard Mueller cross. And this one is going to be hard to see because it's got two spikes and they have intertwined themselves among another orchid. It's actually like, if you look where my hand is, the pot's like over here and the flowers are all the way over here. So let me see if I can, I think this is sunset of some kind. I have like 30 some Richard Mueller crosses. And I actually really like the variety in them, even though they often carry through the orange. But you can see it's not always, right? Petite Stars is white, and this one is lavender. And this is Sunset Glory, which is Richard Mueller by Laelia purpurata. And I got this from Nats. I can recognize their handwriting. Alright, so summer is really my Richard Mueller season, and even though these aren't open yet, you can see that they're all in bud. So you see buds back here. And I keep most of my Richard Muellers in a cluster right here, so they're easy to find. And I love summer for that. I don't usually get to show them off very much because they're usually done blooming by the fall, and of course, they bloom in the summer for me. I don't know when Muelleri blooms, but my Richard Mueller progeny, so the ones that come from, that have Richard Mueller as a parent, and then they're like, what, 25% Muelleri, do tend to bloom in the summer around now. June, well, they start in June. The Golden Tang started in June, and then July and August. And then they're coming out of bloom by September. And then sometimes I will have Hoku Gem in bloom in October. All right, I'm going to end this video with two other orchids that are not Richard Mueller crosses. My Brazzaville David Sanders is in bloom. I think it's Nodosa crossed with Kuroda. I'm not sure, but I love the frilly lip on this. And the last thing I have in bloom here is my penny Kuroda spots. The spots variety. It's also another one I don't get to share very much because it blooms in the summer, but I love it. It's a cluster bloomer and it's faintly scented. It's growing in semi-hydroponics, and of course its pot is doing that horrible thing I hate about semi-hydro pots. So just look at this. You can see that. Look at that. That pot is completely like shattering. I broke it even more trying to pull the tag out to have a look at it. But it's of course got its roots all wrapped around the leca, and of course it's going to be very, very difficult to repot this. Last time I repotted it, I actually set it back about a year or two before it started blooming again. I didn't even divide my pot, I just tried to pot it up. So that's really one of the things I don't like about semi-hydros. It's just so hard to pot it up, and there are just some cattleyas that really do not like having their roots disturbed. So that's it for this I don't know, blooming orchid update. I have other orchids in bloom, but I just really wanted to focus on my Richard Mueller crosses right here. So I hope you enjoyed this update.